Madhuri Sanap, thank you for submitting tickets. It just says Outlook issue, and it says here in description, my all emails in Outlook automatically going to deleted items folder in Outlook. Kindly assist as soon as possible. Now, just so you know, and I don't mean anything bad by this, I know Madhuri said ASAP, meaning as soon as possible, in the sense that, he knows that it will take me a while to get to these because I work on these tickets in my free time. But just a kind of a tip from the personal experience, from what I've seen, when a user puts in as soon as possible in the ticket, that may actually take a little bit longer to fix because nobody, there's no rush when it comes to things. People don't want to be rushed, is what I'm trying to say. So just a kind of quick tip of previous experience that I've seen. So avoid using things like ASAP, but I know this was meant in a good faith, so no problem here at all. Thank you, Mihuri, for submitting this ticket. So here we go. My all emails in Outlook automatically go into deleted items folder in Outlook. So the first thing that comes to mind when something is disappearing in Outlook or something that is being moved to different folders and this and that, that main thing that comes up to me in my mind is rules inside of Outlook. So here is Outlook. I already have it open because I knew I was going to have to talk about Outlook quite a bit today. And the rules are set up in such way, most likely in Outlook, that, and not just Outlook, any other email client, email software, email website, rules are used to do exactly what we just talked about, meaning to move the email to something else, to delete the email, to just do something else, and that rules are set up in such way. So what am I talking about here? Let me show you visually. If you go to settings here, and by the way, I don't like the way this is set up in Outlook. The first thing that comes up when you click on the settings icon right here, the first thing that comes up is the look of the things. Like, I guess the main thing that users care about is how their Outlook looks like, but what we are looking for is actually on the very bottom, and we're looking for the actual settings that we can use as tech support, which is down here, all the way down here as the last thing. And obviously they don't want users to mess with this stuff unless they know how to do it, right? Here it is, view all settings, view all Outlook settings. To me, it's really odd to have the look and the theme of the Outlook as the first thing. I guess it makes sense somewhat, but not as somebody who does tech support, right? So here are rules. The fourth option down is rules. If we select rules, it tells you right here, you can create rules to tell Outlook to handle incoming email messages. That's exactly what I talked about. So how do you want to, or you can set up to handle emails in a specific way. You can set up custom folder and you can say emails labeled as such, move them to this folder with this label. And the same thing can be done to delete, to archive, this and that. So you can set up this rule that will do this. Sort of like you're doing mini programming of your Outlook for your own benefit, for your own preferences. So it says here, you choose both the conditions that trigger, you choose both the conditions that trigger and rule the actions that rule will take. And I'll show you how this is done. Rule will run in order shown in the list below, starting with the rule at the top. So if you create multiple rules, the rule that is on top will run in order shown below. So if you have a rule that does something below it and it cannot do it, that could be the reason because you have a rule that's on top causing the problem for that second rule. So that's something to keep in mind if you have multiple rules. And I'll show you here in a second what we mean. All right, let's create a new rule. And that's simply done by clicking on Add New Rule right here. And we're going to name it. So in this case, let's recreate what's going on here. It says, all emails in Outlook automatically go into deleted items folder in Outlook. So let's see if we can recreate. And we're going to say delete all. That's what we're going to name this rule, this little programming thing that we're going to do inside of Outlook. And we're going to select a condition, which is under number 2. We're going to select condition, and we can say, we're going to say apply to all messages, which is very, very bottom right here, since we're talking about all messages. But if you want, you can specify many different conditions, many different scenarios to your liking and to your preferences. There are so many things you can do here that there are so many rules and custom rules that you can create that can create all kinds of awesome things for you, make your job easier, or it can literally ruin your Outlook, which I've seen before. So many things. You can literally do it by keyword. And all right, let's do what we said to do. So we're going to say apply to all messages. So all messages that come through, this programming, this rule will make changes to it. So in this case, we're recreating here all emails in Outlook automatically go into deleted items folder in Outlook. So we're going to do that. We're going to say an action. So under 3, we're going to select an action. We're going to tell it to do what? First, we told it add condition, and we said apply to all messages. And then add an action, and then it's asking what kind of action do you want to do to all messages, and we're going to select delete. Okay, and then you can add more conditions, or you can add more actions if you want. And then once you do this, you can apply the rule to everything that's in your inbox right away. So if you want to set up so that some emails, some specific emails that are coming with specific titles, you can run those right away, and it will move them to a specific folder that you create. And we can certainly do that. I'll show you another example. But here's what we are recreating for this ticket. All emails in Outlook automatically go into deleted items folder in Outlook. And I'm going to click save. So here it is. This rule is enabled. I can disable it just like this. And if you're doing troubleshooting and you see something like this, you can disable all the rules and see which ones are actually doing this. But here's the one. If my message arrives in inbox, delete the messages and stop processing more rules on this message. And we can run that rule right now, which will delete everything and put it into deleted folder. So this is what I think is happening with your question here. We have a rule that automatically deletes all emails and puts them into the deleted folder. So I'm going to delete it because it's a stupid rule, right? It's a stupid, useless rule. Otherwise, why would you even have email, right? Here is another one that we're going to create a specific condition for. So this is more of a normal rule. And I'm going to say, well, let's prepare for it. Let's prepare for it. We're going to create a new folder that is called new folder. We're going to say, what can we call it? For emails that are coming through that we don't want to read, we don't want to check out, but maybe there might be something useful inside and we don't necessarily want to delete them or put them into the spam folder, right? So something like that, like emails that you're getting that not necessarily related to you, but it's something that it could be, that it needs to be saved just in case. So I'm going to call it updates. I'm just going to call it updates. Right? So we're going to have a folder called updates that is just a folder created inside of our inbox, right? So we're going to create a rule. Let's create a rule that will forward emails from inbox and automatically put them into updates. All right, let's go back to our rules. All right, add a new rule, and we're going to call them updates. Why not? Same thing, just to kind of keep it the same so it's easier to track. And then we're going to add a condition. So you can set up any condition. So we're going to, pick something. And we're going to, and it's good to be very specific. So I'm going to do this here. I'm going to say from, and I'm going to add a sender. And I'm going to set a sender that is just this one here. You can put any email that you are, that you want. So if you're getting emails from some other department that are just updates on what they're doing and it's not necessarily what's going on with you or related to you, you can specify that email. You can specify email from your manager that you want to read later on that are just updates or whatever it is that you can do. And then you can add other conditions. It doesn't have to be an email. You can add another condition. So we're going to do subject line here, and then we're going to say update. So it could be an email that has a subject line in it, in the subject line that has the word update, which is perfectly fine. So it could be your manager or somebody working on a project or something like that, and they have an update about their project. You can just say send the use this rule for an email that has a subject line and the word in it is called update. It's named update. Or you can specify from this specific email. And then we're going to add an action, and we're going to say move to, right? So number 3, we're going to add an action to do what are we going to do with these emails that are coming through? We're going to say move to, and then we're going to select the folder, and here's our updates folder. And I'm going to select run rule now, because chances are you might have 10, 20, 100 emails with the same conditions that we've set up. So we want to process them right away and then have them go to there right now. And of course, if you change your mind, you can disable your rules, or you can delete them. You can run them again if you want. Okay, I feel like that covers that. And I'm going to say reply to customer. I'm going to say, well, I already talked to Madhuri, so I'm not going to introduce myself. So I'm just going to say, please check the rules settings inside the Outlook. To make sure that incoming emails are not auto deleted /moved.